Chapter 19, Scars. I'm not getting mad. I'm not getting mad. I'm not getting mad. It's just a stupid button. Let it go. It was just a stupid button, and this morning I knew that. That's why it was so easy to give it to Brooke, to let it go. I wanted to get our universe back into balance. But now this button stands for every unkind thing that Ellie's ever done. Things I went along with, things I don't even think about. Because it's not like Ellie turned mean all of a sudden. Little bits of meanness have been around for a long time, just not so much out in the open. Before I used to laugh when Ellie whispered something about another girl, about how awful her clothes looked, or how someone's nose was shaped funny, or how some girl talked too loud or said something dumb. And now the meanness is aimed at me. So I probably deserve this. What did I like about Ellie anyway? How come I thought we were such great friends? That's a hard question. When it hits me, other kids must have thought I was kind of mean too, because I'm Ellie's friend. Did some of her meanness rub off on me just from hanging out every day? Did I get infected? Is that how meanness spreads? Scientifically? And how mean did I let myself get? Did I go along with Ellie so we could just keep being friends? I guess I must have. But I know it's not really accurate to think about Ellie as if she were this totally horrible person. I've seen the good side too. I have. She can be generous, sort of, and kind, sort of, and also clever and silly and even sweet, truly sweet. Like when she got choked up talking about buttons that had been on her grandfather's suits. That was totally sweet. So maybe I need to find the least mean way to deal with this incident. Maybe I need to keep trying to be kind to Ellie, no matter what. Or maybe even just let it go. Let it drift away into space. Let it vanish without reacting at all. I'm still sitting at my desk as the final bell rings, and I notice that my right hand is throbbing. So I look down, and it hurts to open my fist. I've been squeezing the broken pinwheel with so much force that the rough edges have pressed red little dents and ridges deep into the skin of my palm, like scars. When water reaches its freezing point, it turns to ice instantly. And just like that, I feel a decision snap into place, clear and cold and hard. I'm not letting Ellie get away with this. Chapter 20, Fad Gone Bad. So, I heard you'll trade 8 of these for 1 bracelet. Is that true? It's Audrey Harkin. She's in Mrs. Cassie's homeroom, and she's looking through my bag of fancy buttons. That's right. You can pick whichever ones you want. Nice. Here you go. She slaps the bracelet down on the lunch table and begins choosing. I have still got at least 100 of the specialty buttons here at school, which is good because they're very popular. But I've also got 6 other bags of nice vintage buttons in reserve, the same ones that I have planned to dump into a tray last week at Ellie's lunchtime button show. As Audrey leaves, I say, be sure to tell the other kids in your homeroom that I'm looking for bracelets and necklaces, and I've got lots of really great buttons here. My new business is bouncing along nicely on this fine Tuesday morning, and everybody loves my sign, Grace's Gorgeous Goodies. So far, I've traded for 9 bracelets, 3 necklaces, and 1 anklet, all made by Ellie, and I've still got 15 minutes before lunch is over. If all goes well, by the end of the day, most of Ellie's originals are going to belong to one person, me. Hank's been watching since lunch period began, and I can feel his eyes, feel his questions. I feel his disapproval too. And it's not because I'm getting rid of so many great old buttons. I already let him pick through my stuff and choose all the ones he wanted for free for his collection. So that's not what he disapproves of. No, Hank can tell something else is going on here. I haven't shown him the broken pinwheel, but he can see that what I'm doing has an edge to it. Something a little sharp, a little harsh, a little grim. And he's right. Because this isn't about fun and buttons. This is war. Grace's gorgeous goodies and Ellie's originals are locked in desperate battle to the death. Okay, so that's a little dramatic. But no matter what, this is called, so far, I'm winning and it feels wonderful. I've seen Ellie look this way a few times from over there at her own special lunch table, trying to figure out what I'm doing. But she's too stuck up to walk over and take a look. And she's probably not smart enough to send a spy, which is what I would do. Besides, it doesn't matter if she knows what I'm doing. She can't stop me, because when it comes to buttons, I'm probably the richest kid in the world. And here comes another customer, Brooke. I like your sign. So what kind of goodies have you got here? Oh, you've seen a lot of these already. She picks up the same bags of fancy buttons that she looked through last Friday when I got her to trade me for the pinwheel. I love the seahorses. And another one, a perfect pair. I can't believe I didn't see these. Want to trade something for them? Actually, I love that bracelet you've got. So how about taking both seahorses plus any other 6 buttons you want for the bracelet? I don't know. This is a great bracelet. It really is. You should probably hang on to it. Yeah, and honestly, I don't want Brooke to get involved again. And she's still poking around the button bag. Oh, check out this one. Looks like a bluebird. Do you know why this one's transparent but the seahorses aren't? Hank could tell you. Hank looks up from his cup of fruit salad, and Brooke takes the button to him at the far end of the table. The bird is celluloid. That's why the color is so bright, but the plastic still lets the light through. And this button is vintage, probably at least 70 years old. The seahorses were carved out of bakelite, which is much denser. They're vintage too. It's a thorough answer, and he's not happy that I pulled him into my business, because Brooke's cute blue ribbon bracelet with the white small buttons, it's almost mine, and Hank knows it, and he wants no part of what I'm doing. Brooke is back standing beside me, and I make her an offer. How about this? You take the 2 seahorses, the bluebird, plus 7 other buttons, 10 great buttons for that bracelet, because it's such a good one. I think that's fair. Okay, it's a deal. And just like that, I've got another one of Ellie's originals. As Brooke walks away, Hank is getting up to go dump his lunch tray, but instead of standing up, he slides down toward my end of the table. I've never seen you wearing bracelets or jewelry, and it's not like Ellie's been using anything rare or fancy to make her stuff. So how come you're collecting it? Simple, because when Ellie figures out that I've got all these, she's going to hate it. And there's one thing she can do about it. I'm going to teach her a lesson. So this is payback for getting dumped from her lunch table. That's part of it. What's the rest? It's complicated. It would take all day to explain. Hank gives me a look. I figured out how gravitational orbits work. Do you think it's more complicated than that? Actually, yes. Figuring out what's going on between Ellie and me isn't the same as working with math problems. If you were the same, all the wars in the world could be ended in a week. So, when does this war end? I shrug. When I've won. And when Ellie, hands off. I turn to look just as Kevin shoves Cody. They're 2 tables away, and they each have lunch trays covered with buttons. That one's mine, and you know it. Cody jumps to his feet and shoves Kevin back, and then grabs for something on Kevin's tray, but he misses. Both trays fly off the far side of the table, and hundreds of buttons go bouncing across the floor. Kevin, Cody, stop it. Mrs. Casey and the custodian are headed their way, but Kevin stands up and gets both arms around Cody and wrestle each other to the floor. As Mrs. Casey and Mr. Roberts pull them apart, kids are yelling and squabbling and chasing the spilled buttons all over the cafeteria. It's like a riot, and it started in 3 seconds. Hank looks at the chaos around us, and then me. When I did a report on the Klondike Gold Rush last year, I read about how the prosecutors and miners began fighting with each other. Looks like the Great Button Rush might be turning ugly, and your little war isn't so nice either. Then he takes his tray and leaves. I hate being scolded, especially when I deserve it, because Hank's right. I'm out for revenge here, and it's not pretty. I'm glad I didn't get to finish telling him the rest of my plans, because Ellie's going to get every one of her originals back, ripped up into tiny, ragged pieces. Hank would have been shocked to hear me say that, maybe even disgusted, except I don't care. I'm being illogical, and I'm being unscientific, and I know that, and I understand that, and I accept that. Why? Because Ellie Emerson totally needs something she has never had. Not once in her whole mean, spoiled, selfish life. She needs a crushing defeat, and that's what she's going to get from me. A question starts to bubble up in my mind. I try to push it away, and the words arrive anyway, and I can't ignore them. If I'm doing such a great job winning my war with Ellie, then how come I feel so awful? Ooh, good question. Have you ever felt like that? Have you ever done something like that? That's good food for thought to leave you for today. Okay, enjoy your day.